Okay, guys. So yesterday we were looking at a property of BFS, right? We sort of we're trying to see if we can get shortest paths from a source using breadth first search, right? So we are trying to prove this statement that what one of your friends sort of conjectured in the previous class. Previous classes saying that BFS gives shortest path from the source to any vertex that is visited, right? So in that direction, so what we were saying that we were capturing the level of a vertex when we were doing this BFS. We are saying that the level of a vertex indeed gives the distance from the source to that particular vertex. When we say distance, it is the length of the shortest path from between any two vertices. Okay, that we call as the distance between two vertices. So this was the statement we wanted to prove. We wanted to prove that the distance between S and U is equal to L of U, where L of U is basically the level of U. Right? I am using this for level of U. Okay. So yeah. So we wanted to prove that it is equal to the level of U. So there are two directions which we need to prove. One is to sort of prove that the distance of between S and U is at most the level of U, or the level of U is at least the distance of S and U, and the level of U is the value of the level of U is at most, right, distance of S of U, distance between S and U. So in that direction we proved the first direction. The first direction which says that level of U is at least distance between S and U. That sort of follows from the definition of distance. What we mean by distance, right? There exists a path from S to U, right, whose length is equal to L of U. That is how we have set L of U, right? And that is a path from S to U. Now that is some path from S to U, and we know that the shortest path should be of length at most the length of this path, right? So which would definitely say that the distance between S of U, S and U is at most the length of this particular path, which is basically equal to L of U, right? So that is how we prove the first direction. So now how do we prove the second direction? So the other direction.
We look at the property of BFS tree. Like,
What?
since it's a BFS tree, the difference between any two neighbors is at most one. Difference in their levels.
The difference in their levels between any two neighbors is at most one. Yes.
So if they, so let us construct a path from the source to the U, the shortest
Mm-hmm.
path.
Mm-hmm.
We know that
We
we
need to
can
consider
we
the shortest path, is it?
yes sir.
Okay, we consider the
Let us
shortest path.
take the path. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to start from level 0, the source, and reach level U.
So yeah, this is the shortest path, right? You go to level 0 and we will reach level U. Yes.
And we can increase our level by at most 1 each time.
We
Like,
can increase our level by at most one each time. Yes.
so we will need at least L plus 1 vertices in the path to reach level L,
Why can't we do it?
assuming we
I mean, you said that you can increase it by at most one, right?
yes, yes.
Uh, yeah, you can increase the vertex of a level by at most one. Okay.
So we have to go from 0 to L of U. So we'll need at least L plus 1 vertices in the path. So the
Mm.
path length will be at least L of U. Any path length from S to U.
No, L of U has nothing to do with the shortest path, right? There is a shortest path.
No,
The way we are
that's
constructing L of U is using our algorithm, right?
Yes, sir. No, I'm saying like any path from S to U will be at least L of U.
Why?
Because we're increasing our level by at most 0.1.
Yeah, that why should that mean? Because there can be many paths, so we don't know. There might be some way of yeah, getting, because edges also go between levels. So how do we say that it is?
So
Yeah,
we can do induction on levels.
you can do induction on levels.
So like the statement will be to from attain level k, and then we can consider a vertex in level k plus 1. So the shortest distance from S to U will be L by inductive hypothesis, or K I mean, and then then further we can, if we extend to V, it will be shortest distance from S to U plus 1, that will be K plus 1.
So what Akanksha is telling is maybe the same thing what Chaitanya said, just to put it in a so much more formal way, right? What Akanksha is saying is that we can prove by induction on L of U, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so for any vertex, so what is the basis, basic step?
So like the statement will be true for like k levels. So
That is the inductive hypothesis. What is the base? There should be a basic step, right? Basis.
base k, yeah.
Inductive. So we can do with L of U equal to 0, right? That is easy,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So L of U equals 0, right? So what is the vertex with level 0?
A source.
Source, right? So this is source. Now, so what is the distance between S and S?
0.
0, right? So which is equal to L of S, right? So
Yes.
which means it is true. At least the basic step is true, right? By
Yes.
inductive hypothesis, we assume that statement is true for all say, L of U less than or equal to K, right? For all vertices, right? For all U such that L of U is less than K. Okay. Okay. Now you take, now suppose L of U is equal to K. Okay.
Yes.
Extension is say, so K plus 1. So L of U is equal to K plus 1. Okay. Then,
If we consider all the vertices, let's say T is a set of all vertices whose level is less than equal to K, then the other set of vertices will be G and T. So edges will exist between T and G minus T only between level K and K plus 1, because we know that if there exists an edge UV, then level of V minus level of U must be less than equal to 1, then mod
okay.
must be.
Yeah. So, okay. So we know that Chaitanya was also pointing it out. We know that the level for any edge, the difference of level between those vertices is at most 1, right? So, which means that, yeah, what does that say about U or any? So the edges exist between adjacent levels. Okay. Then,
Then if you will have a neighbor in level K, let's say V is that neighbor. So
okay. So you say that there exists a neighbor of u in level k. So is this true? Is this statement true? Does everyone get this statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there exists a vertex. Yeah. Why is this true? I mean, can we say what is that vertex?
So the parent of U.
Yeah, we have maintained the parent or the predecessor, right? It is the parent. It is the vertex which was responsible for the discovery or exploration of U, right? There exists a neighbor of U in level K, say V, right? Basically, that is V is equal to parent of U or say predecessor of U. Okay. Okay, Akanksha, continue.
So if we want to reach from S to V, then first we'll have to go from S to U, and then through the edge V to U. Sorry, S to V and then V to U.
That is one way of reaching. Yes.
So, but if we consider the vertices G minus T, the only edges will exist between the vertices of level K and K plus 1. So,
K
there
plus
is
1.
no other way to reach
Yeah.
S.
But once you have this V, do we know anything about V? No,
So,
level of V?
it is K, right?
Yeah. L of V is equal to K. Now, can we use inductive hypothesis?
Yes, like a level distance between S and V will be greater than equal to K.
By inductive hypothesis, so distance between S and V is greater than or equal to L of V. Right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. So distance between S and U will be equal to distance between S and V plus 1.
Yeah. Now it is anyway quite simple. Right? So now if you go here, that was by inductive hypothesis, distance of S and U is equal to is definitely less than or equal to, right, distance of S and V. There can be other paths, right? V was something in this one plus 1, right? Now
Sir, how will be the distance between S and V greater than equal to L of V?
that is by inductive hypothesis, greater than or equal to, right? By inductive hypothesis, that is the statement we are trying to prove. We are trying to prove this particular statement, right? Second statement, right? So that was true. It was equal to 0, right? So if you also want to use the first statement, you can even say it is equal to, right? But yeah, now we are not so much bothered about it. We just only want to prove that it is greater than or equal to. Okay. So probably here I should have written greater than or equal to L of S, right? So that is indeed correct, right?
So
So yeah,
the distance between S and U will be greater than equal to distance between S and V.
okay.
Because U is a child of V.
Yeah, we don't know about distance. At least we know about the level, right?
Yeah.
So level of U is equal to level of V plus 1, right? So which means that for level of V, if we substitute distance between S and V, what happens? Right? We are substituting a bigger quantity, right? So then, so L of U here, if we substitute for this, I am substituting distance of S and V, right? Which means that this is less than or equal to distance between S and V plus 1, right? Notice that there exists a path from S to U, right, in the DFS, right, whose distance is basically S and U plus 1. So basically this quantity, right, will be yeah, what is V? Okay.
So now as there exists an edge between V and U, and we know that distance means the shortest path, the length of the shortest path. Therefore, the like dist of S and U will be equal to dist of S and V plus 1, because there exists an edge between V and U.
Why is it equal to? That was not there in the shortest path, right? It was there in the algorithm. I mean, can we say that distance?
We are not bothered about the
Yes.
path, right? So, but the length will be distance.
Yeah, is this true? Distance between U, S and U? Is this true? Is this statement true? How did we
Yes,
define
sir.
V? No, it is true about this statement is true. The level statement is true. But why is it why the distance statement is true?
So because if we consider the set T, which is like all the vertices with level less than equal to K, and then we consider a different set G minus T with all the vertices with level greater than equal to K. So there the edge will only exist between the vertices of level K and K plus 1. There cannot
Yes,
exist
that is
any.
no, that is correct. Whatever you are saying is correct with respect to the algorithm. What does the algorithm gives us? The algorithm gives us this step, right? It gives us this step. That level of U is equal to level of V plus 1, right? So whatever your argument gives that. But this is something different, right? This step. So distance between S and V, right? So is equal to distance between this is a definitely a different statement, right? Let me sort of write it here since you guys anyway know this lemma. So what we are trying to equate is distance between SV plus 1 is equal to distance SU. Now my question is, why is this true?
So we can prove it by like for this we just have to prove that dist of S of U is greater than dist of S of V, and then we can say there is an edge between V and U. Therefore, dist of S of U is equal to dist of S of V plus 1.
Why should it be equal to? It can be it can be greater lesser than or yeah, equal to dist of S of V
So we
plus
can
1.
so then we can prove that by contradiction. Like suppose dist of S of U is less than equal to dist of S of V.
Mm.
Um,
That doesn't say much, right? So notice this is the problem. We don't have any. See, V was defined to us with we defined V with respect to the algorithm, right? So the
Sir,
we see the way we defined V. Notice the way we defined V. V was basically defined as a neighbor of U in level K. That's all. That is the algorithm with respect to the algorithm, right? It doesn't say anything about shortest paths, nothing, right?
sir, could we take the advantage of the fact that like every subpath of a shortest path is shortest path? So like if you take
Uh,
the shortest path of S and U, if we take the subpath from S to V, we know that that is already shortest.
but
And
why do you know that? Yeah, Nishant, what you say is exactly correct, right? If you take a shortest path between some shortest path between S and U, right? And if you take the neighbor of U, whatever it is, say suppose it is X. Now the uh, yeah, path between S and X is again shortest, right? But this is about X, right? here you are considering the shortest path between S and U. But when we took V, we never considered the shortest path between S and V. This need not be V, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so is everyone understanding the difference, right? It is about our consideration, right? So here we considered some path. The path here we are considered is basically the path which is obtained by the algorithm, right? We don't know whether it is shortest or not, right? That is not guaranteed to be the shortest, right?
Sir, can we use Chaitanya's method itself? Where
yeah, here yeah, this is actually basically using Chaitanya's method only almost. So we are not deviating much from it. It's just that we are sort of formalizing it.
So can we prove it just with contradiction, without induction?
How do we do it?
So what I was thinking was, let us assume the path, let's assume the path from S to U, from the BFS tree is L. Wait, sorry, I got it confused. So if you assume the level to be level,
yeah, how do you get a contradiction there? Without even induction, I don't see. I mean, you need to assume something, right? What do you, that suppose this is path is of length greater than distance or something,
No, sir,
right?
I have a contradiction, a small proof.
Yeah, please.
Suppose the path is v1, v2, dot, 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 vk. And since by contradiction, let us assume it's the path length is less than L of U.
Okay, if the path length is less than L of U, okay.
So k is less than or equal to L of U. So now we construct another sequence x1, x2, x3, dot, dot, x of k minus 1, where x of I is equal to v of level of v of I plus 1 minus level of v of I.
Yeah, why such a thing exists?
No, it's just a sequence of integers. It's not a path or anything. It's just a sequence I'm constructing.
So this is one of your path, is it?
Yeah, that's a path. That's also a sequence, right? v1, v2, dot, 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 vk.
Yeah, this is a path. Okay, now what are you saying about this path?
No, nothing. I'm just constructing a sequence of integers x1, x2, x3, dot, 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 x of k minus 1.
Yeah.
It's just and I'm defining x of I as level of v of I plus 1 minus level of v of I.
Okay, you are defining this as any xi is equal to level of
v of I
what
plus
is
1.
x? V of I plus 1 minus level of vi.
Yes.
Okay.
So now we know that the values of xi can be -1, 0, or 1.
Yeah.
Just observation.
Correct.
So now we take
xi is belongs to say -1, 0, 1. Okay.
So now we take summation xi like x1 plus x2 plus x3 dot x of k minus 1. And that telescopes to level of vk minus level of v1. If we write it. And we know that vk is u and v1 is s, because that's our path. And that is equal to L of u. So now by pigeonhole principle, since we have since k minus 1 is less than L of u, at least one of these values will be greater than 1.
So 1 minute. So we have what you said is this basically gives us so summation of xi's for any path. This is true. Summation of xi's will give us basically L of Vk, right? Minus L of V1. Okay. Is this what you are saying?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Right.
And
These are the only two terms that remain, right?
cancel out the other.
Yeah, everything else cancels out. So now you take V1 to be yes, right? And Vk to be u, right? So
Yes,
it basically becomes say L of u. Okay, if the path is from S to U.
yes. And there are k minus
So
1
where is
terms
this path from? Where is this path from? This is any
from
path
S
in the
to
graph, is it?
any path. I'm not about shortest path. Any path. No,
This
this
is
is the shortest path.
This is the shortest path in the graph.
Yes, I'm trying to get a contradiction. So
Okay,
assuming
this is a shortest path in the graph. For any shortest path in the graph, suppose you take their between any if between adjacent edges, you can take any take the difference between levels. It should be only these things, right? So since we have defined, we have already this property, right, of BFS that for any edge, the difference between their levels is at most 1, right? The absolute difference. So this gives us L of u. Okay. So this is
there are
what are you assuming? It is at most k minus 1, is it?
I'm assuming the path length is less than L of u.
So suppose the path length is less than L of u, right? This okay, the path length, right? So the path is p. So you are taking the shortest path, is it?
Yes.
So then we can even say that since it is the shortest path, right? Okay, since it is the shortest path, then you are saying that so distance between S and U, right? We can even put it as distance between S and U, right?
Yes.
If it is what less than or equal to L of U, is it?
No. This is an assumption. I'm trying to get a contradiction. I'm assuming that distance of S of u is less than L of u.
Distance between S of U, suppose.
Yes.
Suppose. Okay.
So, which implies the k is less than or equal to L of u, because number of vertices in the path is k plus 1.
K is no, k minus 1. The number of edges is k minus 1. Yeah.
Sorry, k is less than or equal to L of u.
Yeah, k is less than or equal to L of u.
So, which implies k minus 1 is less than L of u.
That is true.
Okay. So now looking at our sequence x. So now there are x minus k minus 1 terms.
There are k minus 1 terms.
Each should, the sum should add up to L of u. So by pigeonhole principle, at least one will
What are the k minus 1 terms? How did you get k minus 1 terms?
x1, x2, x3, dot dot dot.
From v1 to vk minus 1, right? That's all. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, the sequences were basically here, right? Probably on the edges, right?
Yes.
Okay. So k minus 1 is strictly less than L of u, right?
X1 pertaining to V1, or is the edge between V1 and V2?
Yeah, between x1 can be, we can put it on the edge between V1 and V2. Basically, it's the property of an edge, right? So that is basically it's the difference between those.
The k is the level of u, right?
No,
k is the level of u.
Length of the shortest.
It is the length. Yeah, it is the shortest path. What Chaitanya is considering here is the shortest path. That is important. Okay.
Okay.
He is taking the shortest path, and then this is something we know, right? that if there is an edge uv, then the difference between the levels of those edges is at most 1, right? So the absolute difference. What it says is xi is at something like it can take values -1, 0 or 1. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, Chaitanya. Yeah. So k-1 is at most L of u. Okay.
It is less than L of u.
Less than,
Cannot be.
strictly less than. Yeah, k-1 is strictly less than L of u.
So our summation x1 x2 dot dot x of k-1 is L of u. And there are k-1 terms. So by pigeonhole principle, we can
This
say
is
that
L of u is basically summation of x1 to xk. So x1 plus x2 to xk minus 1.
yes.
Right? So which means that at least one of the terms should have value greater than 1.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So this sort of implies that there exists xi such that xi is strictly greater than 1. Good.
Contradiction.
This is a contradiction. Suppose this is.
So, but like,
No.
how come it's
How
like
did we get? How did we get this step, Chaitanya?
Because
K
the path length is k-1. Our vertices v1 v2 dot, dot, that is the shortest path v1 v2 to vk, and the path length is k-1.
But why did we put k here? K is less than or equal to L of u.
Okay, I got it from k-1 less than L of u, and I brought it up.
Okay. It is anyway.
It is the I got it from
This
the
one.
reverse.
Yeah, this is better, right?
This
So
is from,
this is the distance is basically equal to k-1, right? There are k-1 edges. Suppose it is less than L of u. Yeah, this implies this one, right? Okay. Okay, so this implies that there should be some xi which is greater than 1, right? This is a contradiction, right? Contradiction for this one, right? Xi, because xi can lie, can take only values -1, 0 or 1. So is that fine? Is the proof fine?
I have a simpler proof, right? Like, say we have inductive hypothesis on level k. I mean,
so that is
till
what
level
we are
k.
trying to do here. Somehow we couldn't sort of finish this. That was the problem.
So, if we
That,
assume
like,
that there exists,
for level k plus 1, we'll assume that distance is less than, I mean, k plus 1. So, but for level k vertices, it is implies an uninverse. Both sides it is proven, right? Because we already proved distance is less than L for level k.
For level k, okay. So did everyone get what Chaitanya said, right? It was just these numbers, right? So let us again go back to earlier proof, and Prajwal is saying something. Let us look into. So does anyone have any doubts with what Chaitanya did?
So can you just give it overview once? Yeah.
One at a time. So I didn't get.
So we can use the first inequality to prove the last part in the induction.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I was asking, is there any doubt with respect to what Chaitanya said?
So like,
So
can you
here
explain it
X
once?
X are the edges here.
One, I didn't get it. So
So
you
here
wanted to
X.
explain again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let us go through it again. Okay. I mean, this is an idea what Chaitanya said. Let us go through it and at least let us try to understand, right? So there are different ways of proving the same thing, right? So as long as it is better to know as many ways as they are, right? So that helps us. That may or may not be the mm, sort of may or may not be needed for this proof, but if it is needed for somewhere else, right, different ways of proving the same thing or different way of putting the same thing, right. Finally, all whatever we are doing, all this might be the same. It's just that we are using different language, right. So what Chaitanya said was, you consider any uh, path, you consider any path in the graph, right. So suppose you consider any path. So let me just anyway, now you guys know this. So let me erase this and try to sort of tell it from the start. So yeah, Chaitanya, you can correct me if I go wrong anywhere, right. So so take any consider any shortest path, any shortest path in G, right? So something like this. This is the shortest path. Say this is V1, this is Vk, right? So V1, V2, right? V3, so on and so forth, right? Till Vk, right? This is a shortest path, okay? So the path is very special. It is some shortest path in the graph, right? V1 and Vk can take any values. Now, so what Chaitanya is trying to see is, so between any Vi and Vi plus 1, there is an edge between them, right? And we know that suppose there is an edge in the graph, right? So we have this property that suppose UV belongs to an edge in G, we know that our algorithm gives this wonderful property that L of U minus L of V, the absolute value of it is at most 1, right? So this is something that is true. Now what he wants to do is to sort of capture this for every edge, right? So what he puts is, on each edge he puts an X, say he puts an X1 here, X2 here. These are some indicator variable, okay? This is sort of a variable for, he puts a variable for each edge, X1, X2 till Xk minus 1. Right? This variable, what does this variable do? This sort of captures, right, the difference between Vi plus 1, the level of Vi plus 1 and the level of Vi, right? How does it define each of Xi? So Xi is basically equal to level of Vi plus 1 minus level of Vi, right? At each edge, you will take the level of the next vertex and the level of previous vertex, and he assigns it to Xi. Okay. So this is what it does. So is this clear? This is I think the probably the most important thing in what he is doing. How he is defining these variables, right? So is everyone clear about how he is defining Xi's?
Yes.
Sir,
Okay.
Shortest path originating from the source, V1.
No, it
equal
doesn't
to-
matter, right? Later, we will do that later, right? This is true for any path, right?
This is true for any path.
Yeah. So, okay. So now, what does this say about the values Xi can take? Notice that there is no modulus here. He is simply taking this L of Vi plus 1 minus L of Vi. What are the values Xi can take?
-1, 0, and 1.
Yeah.
-1,
So
0,
notice
and
that
1.
this is we know that L of Vi plus 1, since there is an edge between Vi and Vi plus 1, L of Vi plus 1 minus L of Vi, the modulus is at most 1, right? So what does this mean? It means that this is equal to 0, minus 1, 1, right? It can take only these three values. If they are in the same level, right, it can be a level edge, then both those levels are 0, right? It can be an edge sort of going from Vi plus 1 can be a in the next level of Vi, right? So so something like Vi could come here and Vi plus 1 is here, right? Then this has level 1 more than this, so it will be plus 1, right? Something like this. So if source is somewhere here, if it is coming like this, it can be something like this, or it can be the other way around also. So this is Vi plus 1 and this is Vi, right? Then it would be minus 1, right? So these are the only three possibilities, right? So it is 0, minus 1 or 1. Good. So that is what he says xi, right, belongs to this. Any xi will belong to 0, minus 1 and 1.
Sir, sir, what is the guarantee that the edges of this shortest path are tree edges?
They need not be tree edges.
Then how can we say that the levels can difference in levels is at maximum 1?
Yeah, if they are tree edges, what will be the difference in levels?
At most 1.
That is true. Can we be even more specific?
Exactly 1.
They are exactly 1. Right?
Oh, okay.
If the edges are tree edges, they are exactly 1. Right? But this is true. This is something we proved in the last class, right? This was one of the properties we said. It is the property of the DFS. You take any edge in the graph, right? The edge either exists as a tree edge or a level edge or some other edge. The other edges also are lying between two vertices in adjacent levels, right? So if you take this, we add this nice BFS thing, right? So if you take edges, right, the edges can somewhat go like this between two vertices in the same level, right? Or they can sort of go. So there can be an edge from say this vertex to somewhat here, right? There can be an edge from this to here. There can be an edge from say this to here, this to here. This is possible. But there can never be an edge from here to here. This is not possible. Right? The edge cannot jump levels, right? So that's why we said that. So suppose there is an edge in the graph, right? If you take the difference between the level of those participating vertices with respect to that edge, the difference in the level is at most 1, right? We are not even saying how vertices are ordered, right? That's why we said the difference is at most 1. It can be a level edge where it would be 0, right? It could be an edge going from an upper level to lower level, something, suppose this is U and this is V, right? Then it is plus 1. Now if you interchange, if this is V and this is U, right? When we are taking here, it would be minus 1. So it can take only three values, right? So 0, minus 1 and 1. So is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a very important property, right? So it is not about tree edges. This is true for every edge, right? This is the property we are talking about, right? So this property is something which we are using. This is a very, very important property. This is something very true. This is the property of breadth first search. So notice that I have written for any edge UV in the graph. It is not in the BFS tree. You can take any edge in the graph. This can be any edge in the graph. Now, if you take the level of U, the difference between levels, the level of U minus level of V, if you take the modulus of it, right, or the difference between the levels is at most 1, right? So that is what this is the property of breadth first search. Okay. So that is something which yeah, Chaitanya is trying to sort of use. So he defines xi this way. So which means that xi can be take the values 0, -1 or 1. Okay. So is that fine till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is everyone comfortable? Okay, good. So now what he does is basically, since this is a path, so he is simply taking the summation of xi's. Okay. So he is simply doing some manipulation. He takes this summation of xi's, right? I going from 1 to k minus 1, right? This is basically x1 plus x2 till x k minus 1. Okay, good. Now what can you say about this summation? Can you say anything about this summation? Right. So what it says is this is nothing but level of Vk minus level of 1 V1. Is this true?
Yes, sir. That will be
Right?
safe.
Yes, sir, because if
Because
you
the other
add
terms
the
anyway, yeah, cancel out, right? The other
Yes,
terms
sir.
cancel out, right? So everything cancels out. The only positive term that remains is L of Vk, which is basically from xk minus 1, and the only negative term that remains is L of V1, which is contributed by x1. Okay. So these are the only two terms that remain, right? So what we get is L of Vk minus L of V1. Okay, good. So this is summation of x's. Okay. Okay. Till now, is everything fine?
So another thing about this sum is every xi is less than or equal to 1. So this sum is itself less than equal to k minus 1.
That we don't, yeah, yeah, every term is less than or equal to 1. Yeah, that is what he does not want to use. He is trying to do it by contradiction, right? So this.
Yes, sir, he uses pigeonhole principle, but we can just contradict it this way also, right? Without
This way
using
also is
pigeonhole.
it? So what does this say?
If it's less than equal to k, and then in his last part he says about k minus 1 being less than this.
Okay, so now what you are saying is that so now what he says is take V1 is equal to S and Vk is equal to U. Okay, so this is the thing. So now what Ashutosh is saying is that so once you take this, now we have L of V1 is equal to L of S is equal to 0, right? So this basically becomes sigma xi would be equal to L of U. Okay. Now what Ashutosh is saying is that since there are only k minus 1 xi's, right? So this cannot go more than k minus 1, right? So the maximum this is at most, right? So k minus 1. Is this fine? Since each value is -1, 0 or 1, the maximum
yes, sir,
this can take is k minus 1. Right? So this
and
is
so
what
we started the contradiction. Yeah, and so we started the contradiction the exact opposite. K minus 1 is greater than L of U.
Yeah, we have not even done any contradiction, right? So yet, right? Now what can we say about this is less than or equal to k minus 1? Okay. Now does this say anything? So what is k minus 1? K minus 1 is equal to distance between S and U, right? Because it had k minus 1
x is equal to distance of S of U, S comma U.
Come again?
Sir, the summation of xi, x1 plus x2 plus x3 till k minus 1 is the distance between v1 to vk, right?
No, That is just the summation of the level numbers. Xi is defined differently. Xi is defined with respect to the algorithm, the some values we obtain in the algorithm.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that's the thing. He is taking the shortest path and then he is sort of bridging the values we are obtaining in the algorithm. Xi is with respect to the algorithm. This is once we define levels, all this is with respect to some our algorithm, whatever algorithm we have taken, right? We are saying that the algorithm V2 we are doing is correct, right? So this is with respect to the algorithm. This is with respect to the shortest path. This is yeah, again with respect to the algorithm and any edge in the graph, right? But here, when you say it is at most k minus 1, you are simply using what we know about xi's from the algorithm, and we know that it is at most k minus 1 because the value of xi is just minus 1, 0 or 1, right? And there are only k minus 1 numbers there, right? So you can take, you can get at most k minus 1. But we know that what is this k minus 1? K minus 1 is the number of edges in this path, right? From S to U. It is the number of edges in the path from S to U, right? So which is basically the distance between S and U, right? So this basically gives us, it is nothing but the distance. This says that L of U is at most distance of SU. Okay. So we don't even have to go via contradiction. Okay. So we can, so is this fine, Chaitanya?
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, we
Just trying to
changed
say the
what you
first
said.
when the class started, I was trying to say this, but I didn't
Okay.
have any formal.
Okay. Nice. Okay, good, right? So this is a nice way of doing it, right? So exactly you can basically this was an important thing, right? This property what we had assumed in the, or what we proved, right? This it's a simple property which you can prove very easily. This once we have this property, we can use that to prove the second direction, which said that L of U will indicate the distance from the source to any vertex in the BFS tree we get, right? So we were trying to prove that lemma, right? When proving that lemma, the one of the directions is easy from the distance definition of distance. The other direction we can prove it using this. Okay, is that fine? Okay, that's a neat proof. Now, can anyone correct what yeah, Akanksha was trying to do? Yeah, Prajwal,
So
we were saying. Someone
we
talked.
proved we already proved that distance is less than level, less than or equals to level.
We proved that distance is less than or equal to level. Yes.
So now we'll assume
So that proof is still here. So I will erase this. This part of the proof is anyway on the other side of the board. This is not required now. Okay.
So distance is less than or equals to level for all vertices.
For all vertex, distance is less than or equal to level. Yes, that we have proved.
Now we will assume for a vertex at level k that level is less than or equals to distance. We'll assume inductive hypothesis.
By inductive hypothesis, for any vertex for L of V, it is less than or equal to distance of, because that is how we have defined V, right? S to V. Okay.
Yeah. So this is true for what? So now with this, for any vertex at level k, distance equals to k. Means less than
L of V is equal to distance between S and V. Okay, good.
Yeah, so it is both implies and unimplies, both sides.
Yes, that is this is what it implies, right? This is correct.
So now we'll take a vertex at level k plus 1.
Yeah, that is U that we have already taken. Yeah.
I mean, I'm proving for k plus 1. So now we'll assume the contradiction that distance is less than level, strictly less than level.
Okay, so we will assume that distance is strictly less than level. Yeah, that is that by contradiction. If distance of SU is strictly less than level of U. Okay.
Now distance of U is less than or equals to K.
What is K? Why did K?
mean,
Okay. K is
I'm
the level, right? Okay.
I'm
Okay. It
assuming
is L of U is basically K plus 1, right?
Yeah. L of U is
L
K
of
plus 1.
K plus 1, right? So which means that distance between S and U is less than or equal to K. That's all we can say.
Yeah, but we know that for any vertex at level less than or equals to K, it is both sides, implies and unimplies. If distance equals to M, then level equals to M.
No. That is
Why?
not we only know that for any vertex which is at level K, then the distance is equal
less
to
than or
level.
equals to less than or equals to K.
There is a difference, right? So what we know is if L of U is less than or equal to K, then L of U is equal to distance from SU, right? Or if you don't want to get confused, L of X is less than or equal to K, then L of X is equal to distance of X. This is something we know, right?
Yeah. So
but
if,
what you are implying is the other way around. If the distance of SU is less than K, right? That we have not proven.
I mean, like distance will be equals to level, right? Like
no, right? There is a difference, right? You are proving it only for those vertices at level K. You are not proving for every vertex that are at a distance K from S. Why
no,
are you
I'm
even sure
assuming,
that every such vertex is captured at level K?
I'm taking the assumption for all vertices level less than or equals to K, right?
Yes, you are taking whatever you said is true for all vertices at level less than or equal to K. But it is not true for all vertices at distance less than or equal to K. There might be other vertices, right, which you are not captured in your BFS at all, which are at distance less than K. Because every of your statement says only about, you're talking only about the algorithm. Why is your algorithm capturing all those vertices?
Okay.
Right? So this, it is, if level of X is less than K, then level of X is equal to distance. This I agree. But this statement, this does not imply that if distance between S and X is equal to K, then level of X equals K. No, it doesn't imply this. It is the contrapositive, right? So sorry, converse. It's the converse. It doesn't imply the converse, right? Because why are we sure that such a vertex is already explored by our breadth first search? So yeah, to do that, yeah. So any way we can change this so that we can get what we want.
Sir.
Yes, sir. I think we can, sir.
Oh.
So we can use the first inequality. If you can see the last line, L of U is equal to L of V plus 1. So now we have to check the inequality. L of U is less than equal to distance of SV plus 1.
L of V is?
L of U is less than equal to distance of SV plus 1. S
Yeah,
V
that is
plus
also,
1.
yeah, these are equal to, is it?
Yes, sir. And L of U is greater than equal to distance of V, as we have proved in distance of S comma V.
Okay, 1 minute. So this is equal to distance of
less than equal to.
It is even equal to, yeah, you can less than or equal to. Okay, anyway, that is anyway indeed true. Okay, now.
So now we can use the inequality that L of u is greater than equal to distance of S comma u.
L of u is
greater than equal to distance S comma u.
Okay, why L of u is greater?
So that is the first inequality we have proved, right? We divided it into two parts.
Okay. Okay, L of u is greater than or equal to
distance of S comma u. The first part of the proof we have done, we divided into two parts, less than equal to and greater than equal to.
Yeah, okay, I will take this out. Anyway, this proof was clear. Yeah. So if you guys you want, probably you can go back and see in the video, right? So anyway, I have a very small board. I need to keep erasing. So we know that L of u is greater than or equal to distance of SU. Okay.
So now we can compare distance of SU and distance of S comma V. Like distance of S comma U will be less than or equal to distance of S comma V plus 1.
Distance of S comma U will be less than or equal to distance of S comma V plus 1. Yes.
So now I'm dividing it into two inequalities. Oh, sorry, one inequality and one equality. Like distance of S comma U is either equal to this or it is less than equal to distance of S comma V.
How?
So like distance of S comma U can either be equal
now what
to,
are you comparing? Now what are you comparing?
So I'm comparing the right one, the two in the right. Just forget about LU.
Okay, these two.
Yeah.
Okay.
This inequality.
Okay.
So now we can say that distance of S comma U can be either equal to distance of S comma V plus 1 or it can be less than or equal to distance of S comma V.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is 1. Otherwise it is less than or equal to. Yeah. Nothing. It is the same as before, right? Nothing much. Or strictly less than. Do you want to say strictly less than? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought that the inequality was only true like for the equal part. It won't be true for less than or equal to.
There is still something which you need to. Yeah.
Like we get a shorter path, I think, from the less than part, like the second inequality.
Is it? I mean, you have not assumed much about how do we get the shorter path? Yeah, again, our assumptions are not clear yet. Yeah. That again is a bit of confusion. So anyone else has any other idea to correct it? Yeah.
So, if we consider the vertex U, it can have only 3 types of neighbors, like one in level K, one in level K plus 1, and one in level K plus 2.
Yes.
Yeah, so suppose if we consider the path from S to U through vertex in level K, then we can simply say that it will be K plus 1 because the shortest distance from S to the vertex
What
in
is the
level
path you are
K.
considering? What path are you considering? Are you considering the path in the algorithm or in the graph?
No, sir, according to inductive hypothesis.
Yeah, according to inductive hypothesis, in the algorithm, you are getting a path, right?
Yeah. So if we say U is a vertex in level K plus 1, so let's say V is a vertex in level K. So we can, for that we can directly say that the shortest path will be S2, the shortest path between V plus 1. Now if we consider, now we are worried about
no, but
like,
we can't say that, right? I mean, the way you have defined it, right? This V may not come in the shortest path from S to U,
yes,
right?
sir. So we can now let's say if V is not the vertex, like there has to be one edge, right? At least U to V, U to V, or let's say there is some vertex X which is adjacent to U in level K plus 1. So X can be adjacent, then again similarly X can be adjacent to any vertex in level K or K plus 1 or K plus 2. So the same will be
What is
true
if it
for.
is in K plus 2?
So any vertex in K plus 2 cannot be adjacent to any a vertex in level K or less than that.
Okay, so what?
So
Does that say anything? No, the only thing is you are trying to take a path, right? From S to U, right?
Yes.
Now this the next vertex, suppose V. What if it is there in the there in level K plus 2?
So the vertex just before V, it cannot be in level less than K.
Yeah, suppose it is level more than K. So what? That can happen, right?
So then again, if we similarly go on considering the adjacent vertices, so at some point we will reach S, right? So similarly the vertex adjacent to S, like it will be contradiction to that level of U minus level of V must be less than equal to 1. So
again, this is a sort of going to what Chaitanya said, right? Almost, right? Probably, yes. The only thing is, I think now even Akanksha told something, right? So, the only thing is, we could have sort of sailed through very easily instead of doing an induction on L of U, right? If you had done the induction on distance of U between S and U. Now let us consider an induction on the distance between S and U, for not the level. Level is with respect to the algorithm. Here distance is something that is fixed, that is with respect to the graph, right? Now let us see if that works. I don't know if it works. I have a hunch that it sort of works, right? So if basis is distance is 0, right? That is yes, and it works, right? So when it is distance is equal to 0, it is true for all vertices U at distance between S and U at most K. Right now you take a vertex U such that distance between S and U is equal to K plus 1, right? So this is the distance between S and U is at most K plus 1, which means that now you take that you take a shortest path, right? It is at distance K plus 1, right? Between S and U. Now you consider the neighbor of V on this particular path, right? So here, whatever we have defined here, right? Neighbor of U not in level K, right? Neighbor of U in the path, right? So it is a neighbor of U in the path, right? Now, what is the distance between S and V? Can we say anything about the distance between S and V?
The distance of S of U minus 1.
Yeah, so now we can use the shortest path property, right? So it has to be equal to, so since this is K plus 1, this has to be equal to K, right? So by shortest path property, shortest paths contain shortest subpaths, right? This has to be equal to K. Now you simply use inductive hypothesis. So once you use inductive hypothesis, we know that level of V, right? is less than or equal to say k, right? Level of v is less than or equal to k, distance of SV, right? So and level of u, right? So and there is an edge uv, right? So yeah, since there is an edge uv, right, level of u is definitely less than or equal to level of v plus 1, right? So this is anyway true. So which means that it is sort of less than or equal to. So anyway, we can substitute a bigger quantity, right? K plus 1, right? Which is basically equal to the distance from S to U, right? So this sort of gives us, right, the inequality we need, that the level of U is at most the distance from S to U. So notice that I didn't change anything except that I sort of try to prove it by inducting on the distance rather than level. Okay. So I try to induct on the distance rather than level, right? That sort of sails through, right? So because we get this shortest path and we can use this shortest path property, which we have already seen.
So we took the shortest path from S to V, no, not from S to U. Right?
We took it from S to U.
We took it from S to U. Okay.
Yeah. See, when we are extending, we assume that distance from S to U was k plus 1. Then you take one shortest path. There can be multiple shortest path. You take one shortest path, right, from S to U. Now you consider the neighbor on that particular path. Now this, since we have the shortest path property, this gives us a handle, right, to use inductive hypothesis, right? So the distance, we know that distance from S to V is equal to k, which implies that by inductive hypothesis, this implies that level of V, right, is at most k, right? That is what we have proved by inductive hypothesis. This we get by inductive hypothesis. Then it is just, yeah, manipulation of using what we know. Right? Because UV is an edge. Again, we are using it here. This is used here again. Yes, Janmash, you are telling something.
Like in the base case also, like we keep the base case.
Yeah, in the base case also, yeah, it is about the distance, right? So distance, when distance is 0, then level is at most the distance, right? Level of S is less than or equal to distance between S and S. So it is basically equal to, but if you want to prove less than or equal to, we can always write it as less than or equal to, right? Okay, so this is, yeah, because again, notice that since UV is an edge, the level of U can be at most level of V plus 1. This is something which we are using here. Again, this property is again being used here, right? So since there is an edge, the difference between levels is at most 1, right? That is something we are using here. And then you substitute by inductive hypothesis this, and you get whatever we want. So is that fine?
Yes, sir.
It's fine or completely confused? We saw, I think, 2 proofs, right? Both are actually, they are the same. The main property we use is basically this and the shortest path, right? The shortest path property, right? And yeah, this is sort of, I mean, the proof we did, right? We have done a lot of inductive proofs now. So this is one problem with induction, right? Many a times you need to be a bit more careful, right? When we are doing induction, you need to, there are a lot of induction traps, right? So you shouldn't fall into that. You should be, yeah, once you get stuck somewhere, try to see if you can change something anywhere, right? You can try to see if you can change something, and then yeah, here I didn't do anything. This proof was anyway obtained by Akanksha. The only thing I changed was what she was doing induction on. Instead of doing induction on a property of the algorithm, I tried to do induction on property of the graph, right? The good thing was we knew something about the shortest path property once we took this, right? So it became a bit more easier. That's all. So you just, yeah, tweak it and try to see if something, I mean, maybe we could also have done induction on the level, and we could have done if we had known much more about the algorithm, right? So yeah, that is, since we knew this much, yeah, once you sort of change it, yeah, we know enough to prove using the things we know. Right? Is that fine? So you could use either of these proofs. Yeah, probably we will see these proofs later. Yeah, the Chaitanya's proof was also very neat, right? The only issue is probably, yeah, it uses these variables which are sort of, yeah, integers, and I don't know how it scales up if we sort of go to, yeah, weighted graphs. But that's a nicer, neat thing, right? So that's a good thing to have, right? Good. So this is yeah, we saw sort of two proofs and different ways of thinking about the same thing, right? So, and yeah, I think there were at least 3 or 4 different proofs that were attempted, right? So everything got stuck at some point, right? This is yeah, what the class is all about, right? So I think yeah, I am probably this is the first time since the course started where we went and we got stuck at some point, right? Yeah, this is probably the most important thing about attending a class, right? You will be able to see multiple ideas and try to see where it goes wrong, and then you will try to correct it, right? So yeah, otherwise, if you want the best proof or the right proof, you can go and read any book. You will get it, right? But yeah, many times even when you sort of know the proof, you actually don't understand it, why it is you know it the correct. That's the only problem with the book. See, there is only so much space to give you one correct proof. There can be multiple correct proofs, and there can be multiple ways it can go wrong, right? And that is something which you cannot explore in a book, and that's the advantage of the class, right? There are yeah, as of now 75 minds there, and everyone is thinking, and so people come up with different ideas, and whether it is the idea can be sort of pushed to a complete proof or not, right? So it is still an idea, right? And we will see why an idea works or it doesn't work, right? So that's about the thing. So this sort of proves that we can use breadth first search to get shortest path from a vertex to any other vertex, right? So breadth first search is a way of yeah, the way breadth first search happens. So it gives a shortest path from a source to any vertex in the graph, right? If the vertex is not reachable, it will be infinity. That's all, right? So otherwise, it will sort of the way it proceeds. It also gives us the shortest paths from source. So if the graph is unweighted, right? This is the algorithm you should use, right? So if the graph is unweighted, and if you are given, if you are asked to find shortest path from a particular vertex to all other vertices in the graph, the way to do it is to do BFS from that particular vertex. Okay, good. This is nice. So yeah, I think we are almost towards the end of the class. I think you need to log into other thing. Just before you go, I would like to give you a problem. So suppose you have a graph. Now I want to sort of see whether we can extend this idea. about. Are there any questions with respect to distances and shortest paths in undirected graphs?
Sir,
Anything, any doubts? Yeah, please.
Can't we use this inductive proof to directly prove the equality instead of proving
That
L
also,
of
yeah.
less than or equal
Oh, that's
to?
a good question. That's a good question. You can even do that actually. You can do that. Okay. So I don't think the proof will differ. So it will be the same. Okay. So the proof will exactly be the same. Wherever you have put less than or equal to, so you use the definition and you put equal to. You can do that. So any other question? Okay. So now the new problem is this. So you are not given a unweighted graph, but you are given a weighted graph. Okay. Suppose you have a graph, right? So now the edges have weights, right? This is the much more practical situation where edges will have weights, right? So edges have weights, and now you need to find shortest path from a source. Okay. But the weights are very special, right? So this is starting from here, right? You want to find weights to all other vertices. So I will say that the weights are special. The weights are every edge is either weighted just 1 or 2, right? So suppose the weight of this is 1, this is 2, this is say 2, this is 1, this is 2, this is 1, 2, 2, something like this. Okay. Now, can you still modify your breadth first search to find shortest path from this source to every other vertex? Okay. So the weights are basically 1 or 2. Now can you modify? Can you do something to the graph, or can you sort of use, right? Can you apply BFS here, right, in to find shortest paths from this source to every other vertex? Okay, so that's the thing. So think about it. We will sort of try to see it in the next class, right? So if you can find this, then try to see if you can do it for bigger sort of numbers, right? Bigger integers, and you can always assume that all are positive integers. And what will be the time complexity also? Okay, once you try to do this, and we know that the earlier algorithm, it was linear time. It was just using BFS. Okay. So is the question clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay then. So then we will stop here. I think you need to